Hi. So, I kind of wanted to make a short video on some thoughts I'm having tonight about spirituality versus psychosis and how it can fit together. I broke my horn things on this mask to not show my face because, you know, I suck sometimes. Um, but yeah. So I have certain thoughts on spiritual and psychic. I think some people are more psychic as a child and they don't realize it and they talk to all these different people and stuff, and some of them block it out and stuff. I'm gonna take my cousin Tara for an example. She herself, when she was younger, she would always go and I searched the history of the house and stuff and blah blah blah. Um, and she would go off and talk to all these people and have all these delusions or dreams about certain situations to do with people living there, or in her sleep she would walk off and start talking to all these different people and she'd have these friends and she would barely remember it when she woke up and stuff. And most of these people turned out to be people who had been in the house, or some people had died in the house, or this or that. And she was psychic and she didn't realize it. She went on to be a psychologist, and I think she kind of blocked it out and blocked her ability out, and she repressed it, so it comes back sometimes as bursts as her, when she gets drunk or something, for instance, and her mind is weaker because she's drunk. Like this one time, she didn't remember that she had assaulted her friend and strangled her friend, and I was like, straight away to Tara, I was like, "Do you know anyone that tried to strangle you that has died?" Or something like that. I don't know if I remembered asking her directly, but I tried to indirectly ask her because, since my cousin Tara was a child, she had abilities with mediums and spirits and the world like that. I myself, as a child, not saying I'm bona fide able to do this, but had situations with like sometimes seeing or sensing things before it happened. I guess everybody, everybody innately possesses empathy, and everyone can tell things to a certain degree that's going to happen before they happen. It's just normal. But I had sometimes as a child, even one time to do with my cousin Tara, when she was crossing the road and she almost walked into and got hit by a car. And I saw her before it happened because she wasn't supposed to go over there, and I saw it before it happened. So I ran over and pushed her out of the way, and she almost got hit by the car, but I stopped it because it was the same things happening in order. And yeah, that was kind of an interesting experience. And I think she got mad at me particularly because she was like, "Why are you doing that?" And she was like, "Boosh," because I stopped it happening. And I don't even know if she knew there was a car there or something. She was just like, "You assaulted me, or you hit me or something," blah blah blah, which I thought was interesting. Um, yeah, psychosis and spirituality can go two and two because in spirituality there's psychosis, and in psychosis I believe there should be room or exception for spirituality as well. Like, certain people don't refuse to believe it. Like when I was with this doctor who put me on a lot of medication because they didn't like the way I was speaking or acting, because it's improper basically or something, and they don't like the way I sound or the sound of my voice and I talk too much and all this or that. Um, basically, oh, I just what I was talking about. Yeah, when I was with her, she was like, "Oh, you allegedly have abilities. Prove it." I was like, "I didn't say I have abilities." Blah blah blah. I don't know where that's coming from or why you're saying that. And I was like, she's like, "Fine, what am I thinking right now?" I'm like, "I don't know what you think, but I think you're feeling like something along the lines of this." And she was like, I saw it on a movie as well, a TV show, and she was like, "I think you're just reading my body language and the cues and using that to get the information." It's like, well, I I possess empathy since I was a child, but I did find out about that and I tried to learn about it to give me an edge up in situations with abusive people, yes. But before this, I already could feel emotions and stuff. But I myself am kind of autistic, so this is another way psychosis and spirituality, or psychological conditions and spirituality go toe and toe. I was a little bit autistic, so I can I know the emotions and I know what they mean to myself, but sometimes I have trouble explaining them, which I guess is kind of like what they said in the uni classes I'm doing about in order to actually like be good or actually understand something, you have to be able to explain it. So I guess I don't understand them properly. I don't know, maybe people who can sense emotions become blunt to emotions one day, kind of become somewhat blind to emotions. I don't know. I don't think that's accurate though, but yeah, so you gotta hope those people would be born with an excess of emotions, which some people say is a bad thing, but if someone's an empath and they're gonna have like a less emotional capability one day, taking like pills or drugs to stop them from having a whole lot of emotions is just going to block out like the blessings they were born with to compensate for the fact that they're going to like feel a little bit less emotions from all the empathy and dealing with all other people's emotions dying their own, so that they'll just like end up being normal line instead of just like, huh, yeah, whatever one day. So like, you know what I mean? It's interesting theories. Or like some people might innately possess something and not realize it. Some people might think they possess something and they don't. There's also the chance that like sometimes even if you're seeing visions and stuff, it's not your own. Like it can be like a spirit guiding you or an angel. Don't get tricked by a demon. I don't know really how to tell that. There's certain smells or sounds or cues or sights, but even with spirits, like some of them can let you know they're there as well. Um, yeah. So like spirituality and psychic kind of do go toe in toe. Because psychic and psychology both start with psi. I don't know what the origin of that word is, but in like the uni radio class I'm doing, they're saying break the words down to the origin. Just kind of like this weird view I have. The word insane. In means inside of or within, so within the group, and sane, so it means within sane. So I don't know why the word insane or not sane doesn't mean like unsane, which I thought was pretty interesting or cool. But you know, that's probably just a mix up in how they worded things. Um, yeah, so like I don't know, like I myself, for like a couple of months before someone passed that I was living with who was like a big influence and a good person in my life for a couple of months before they died, like I saw their bird being dead, and then I saw them being dead, and then I saw like a girl who was possibly someone I work with or someone I used to work with or another person who did kind of look like someone on the other side of the country. And then after that it could have been someone else I know, um, which was kind of interesting and scary at the same time. But these people, I don't think they were supposed to be that way yet, um, or anything. Um, and then, um, like in this, I saw someone with like leather gloves or like leather gloves on their hands on like twisting and killing this bird, and then the bird showed up twisted and dead like a couple of weeks later, and I was like, it's interesting. I can't remember. I think I might have been at work when it happens or something, but I wasn't there. And then yeah, and then this guy ended up dying, and it was the same as I saw it, only he was in a different location, like moved in a different location, and like I was asking him about blah blah blah, and he ended up getting a haircut instead, and yeah, and like certain things changed, like the location of the haircut, but it still happened. So I don't know. Um, maybe it's supposed to happen, maybe it's not. But like the fact that some of these, like I don't know what it was with that guy there who passed because, um, you know, like I didn't really see anyone hurting them or anything like I did with the other two in these seeing things before they happen. But you know, like it's kind of like seeing evil things before they happen, which is interesting. Um, I don't think these things were supposed to happen because, like, when I was younger, I was taught about when you see things by like this lady who called herself the Fat Woman or the Fat Lady, um, who I know. She taught me about like how to sense if something's supposed to happen or not supposed to happen. Essentially, like when you see this is supposed to happen or this not supposed to happen, so you got to accept it or not accept it, kind of situation things. And I don't think these things were supposed to happen because of the way they presented. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be off. I don't know. Which is interesting. Like I personally think like I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like it's interesting. Because like since then I didn't see it happening, but I knew my grandfather was gonna pass, which happened before this other guy died. And then um I didn't see or know that my grandmother was gonna pass, but I had the feeling in the months before I just need to keep checking it with her because I might not have much longer, but that's just, you know, normal scared curiosity and stuff, which is interesting. So yeah. And like even with dreams, like sometimes in dreams you get the strangest sense of deja vu. Like you have a dream about something and then you end up seeing it. And I was always taught about like psychic versus manifestation and how to like test or know if you're psychic versus manifesting. And I'm definitely not manifesting because I know how to not do that. So it's an interesting theory. Because like from what I learned about theories on psychics and stuff, this is going off of psychic spirituality. Like it's kind of like the three kinds of psychics: oracle, seers, and psychics. And there's also kind of fortune tellers as well, who come from like lines that do it, which is kind of like a line I allegedly supposedly come from. Um, and stuff. It's I keep forgetting what I'm saying. Like psychics, oracles. It's kind of like oh that I remember just now. Um, so like when it comes to visions, as long as you know it's actually a vision, it's actually true, and it's not coming from a bad place. So like you got to know where it's coming from. Like, so someone from a line of fortune tellers or that, or like people with foresight or psychic abilities. I don't know if I actually possess them or not. Can't like you've got to know it's actually you, or it's like actually someone from your line or something. Because like you got to be very, very careful you're not getting tricked by demon, or some of these people will actually also essentially, like my ex tried to do this a bunch of times to get like bigger genitalia, like bigger appeal, more attractive, this or that to like make the enemy sick or die and all this shit. You gotta make sure you're not working with demons because some people will like say, "Oh, I'm a psychic, I'm this or that," but then they go around telling everybody because like you have to tell people to get your visions to come true, or the vision might not happen. It's like you're manifesting a vision then, which is like a demonic thing, and it's no good at all. Whereas people who like have the psychic ability because like an angel or a good spirit has shown them or gifted it or blessed their family line with it is different because those people were kind of like born or created to see it and they're supposed to see it rather than having a demon feed them all this information or things. Yeah, or there's also the family lines who, like, in I don't know if this is accurate or not, but this is something I've kind of read or dreamt about. Um, is something called the Book of Life, which is like a book. It's kind of like a Bible. The Book of Life has all past events that are kind of like set in stone that will happen have already been written. It's currently in this other place where it's being writing all that is happening at this time. It's kind of like this magical glowing book. And in the future, it branches off into all the different possibilities that can happen if what happens. And for some people to be psychic, they have to, like someone in their line or them, has to go into this place and read all the different possibilities for the future and what all the different things that could happen is and blah blah blah, which is interesting. And then like they'll be shown things from that, um, and it's interesting. Like it's like an interesting theory, but like you never know. Like some people think people are psychotic, but they're traumatized. I know that for a fucking fact because like I talked to these psychologists about like admitted to them my ex in the past who something that's what else I forgot to say. My ex in the past who did all these things. Like he also claims that his family pretends to be these big psychic people, and it's all a scam because they summon these demons and these bad spirits and this or that, and then they pretend to exorcise and undo them, but actually they were controlling it the whole time. And like they use the fact that they have summoned the demons to like hurt these people and drain their power or their life force and make them live shorter lives and steal it for themselves. And now I forgot the other thing I was saying, damn it. And they pretend to be these big badass people who are like all involved in this, but they're fakes and they're just doing all these bad things in the first place. Um, yeah, I forgot what I was saying. I keep doing this. I keep getting like single track minded. Um, I need my own attention span to increase. I gotta do some my memory things, but like yeah. So like with these psychologist people, I was telling them about trauma I had to do with this particular ex, and it was kind of like they said I was psychotic, and I told them my ex threatened me and threatened to um like do horrible things or cut me if I didn't do sex with them or this or that. And the psychologist put on my report, I found a word on my report and I searched it up and it's like has ideation fantasies about being raped, wanted to be raped. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? How can a psychologist sit there and lock you up for like 6 months because someone cut you and threatened to rape you? And oh, quote, they wanted to be raped. Like every dickhead out there that rapes someone uses that as a fucking excuse. Like, how is that okay? How is that legitimate? They put me on medication until it kind of messed my mind up a little bit. I got a little bit, and like I couldn't even like function properly a little bit, and I was like so drugged and sedated at first, and all this bullshit, and it like made me like I've lost the weight since then a little bit, but I'm still fat, and it made me gain so much fucking weight. Like people looked at the clothes I'm in before, and they're like, "Damn, how can anyone even fit into those clothes size?" Because I was eating right, I was exercising, and I was working, I was doing everything right. but someone was clearly fucking jealous. But these particular people might have been involved with my mother because of the shit they said to do with her and the fact that they put her version of this story or this fake things instead of like the facts that they were told. So it's all interesting and like this is completely irrelevant. I shouldn't put this on the video, but like even with where I was going, like my stepfather's a horrible person. He does horrible things too. And he put on the video like, oh, um, was going to Broome, and that like the hospital report says was discharged and sent to Broome, currently in Broome. And I was like, I didn't go to Broome because my stepfather threatened me and said he was sending me there through this institution and blah blah blah. It was a horrible situation for me, and there's nothing I could do because he was this big bad manipulator with all these little blah blahs. And I like talked to them about it, and they're like, "You get to choose where you go. Didn't you choose Broome?" And I was like, "No, I didn't choose Broome. I want to go somewhere else." And they're like, "Oh, you can go here, here, here." So I was like, "Okay, can I go here?" And they're like, "Because it's the closest one." And I was like, "And my sister's there at the moment." And they were like, "Yeah, you can go there." So I got discharged there, and they almost put me on the wrong plane because someone thought I was supposed to go there because, like, this person was involved. And then I end up going where I wanted to, and the hospital report was literally wrong to what, like, this pre-written report without any actual information was, which I thought was fucking interesting. So it can all be relevant. Like, some people know, some people don't, some people might be trying to hide things. So like I wouldn't say you necessarily trust a psychologist. Although this is an interesting fact. My cousin thought that when you become a psychologist, I think I tried to get her out of this. She thought that when you become a psychologist, it gives you a chemical imbalance in your brain that can make your eyes turn back, and that was what she was told to expect or believe when you sign the form to become a psychologist. Which is fucking interesting, but I don't think everyone thinks that. I don't know. It was an interesting situation. Yeah. Um, interesting, interesting, interesting. And yeah, so like I don't know, some people might get dreams that are just based off of anxiety and past events in your mind, rationalizing what you've already seen. But at the same time, if some people have latent abilities or psychic abilities, they might be constantly blocking out what they're seeing. And if these people are constantly blocking out what they're seeing, the only way their mind is going to rationalize it is within the dream because they've been blocking out what their body and their mind and people around them told them not to embrace their own body or acknowledge or know. Because like I think when it comes down to it, it's all kind of like energy. Like we see, when we see, we use energy to see. So that energy is obviously gone there. Like when we think, when we experience, when we process what we see, like it sends energy to our brain. We use energy, but like where does the energy that's left go? Like when we break down food in our bodies, we excrete it. So where does the thought brain? Where does the fucking shit thought go? You know what I mean? It's kind of like an interesting thing. I'd rather look at it the flowers coming out of the brain or like little bubbles. I want to be a bubble brain. That'd be pretty cool, bubble brains. But yeah, um, I don't know. It's kind of like I need to script these things so it's not so going on for so long, ridiculously and pointless. But it's kind of like I don't know, like certain people think it's psychotic circles, certain people think it's don't. Like I've started doing card readings and energy healing again because in the past I've seen things like obviously I've seen things before they happen at certain times, and then with the card readings, like I did a tea leaf reading, and I was like, oh, is there something to do with a baby with my brother? And they're like, yeah, my girlfriend's pregnant. Or I was doing a card reading for my friend. I was like, oh damn, your boyfriend's probably gonna get justice or sent to jail, and he did get sent to jail. And just like little things like that that I get right, and like with energy healing work, I can't say I could do it at the moment. It's almost like as soon as I can make it, it's disappearing and being drained somewhere or something. It's like this weird bullshit. But like in the past when I practiced it, since I had an ability, like a knack for it since I was a young child, I like was practicing the healing sicknesses and stuff like that. And I tried to do it for like Centrelink let me get an ABN, so they let me get an ABN under a scheme. So I was like working for myself and making all this money, which is like ended up being this whole other horrible situation to do with this BR's roommate, um, who I thought was my friend. But they were like sorry, I was like doing the energy healing, and a bunch of people said that I helped them heal and get over diseases, and I'm like, well, could it be a placebo effect? I look at this scientifically as well as spiritually because I think the two go toe and toe, kind of like a linear graph crossing at points, depending on the topic, and it's yeah, it's kind of like I kind of help some of these people with their diseases apparently. And I'm like, well, it could have been a placebo effect, but I'm not going to ruin that even if it is. And like, I was trying to do it and I can't do it because I feel it like disappearing and being drained from my body as soon as I basically make it. Like, it's unnaturally disappearing. Um, and like, I tried to get someone over, and someone here was like, "Yeah, I'll let you try out and practice getting back in the swing of it with me." And I did, and I don't know if they were lying about this or not because there is a chance they could have been lying, but they said apparently, with the whole energy healing thing, it kind of felt like they had been asleep for 3 days and they had got like 3 days worth of rest just from this session. I was like, well, that's interesting. You probably do still need to sleep, but that's like restoring energy is one of the cool things. Restoring energy, making you like a little bit stronger temporarily. I don't know if I can do the fighting diseases at the moment, but like, there is obviously the other side of that too. If someone gets pissed off, like certain people to do with healers, not saying it's me, can't necessarily hate anything because they can't afford to hate things because that hurts people. But I'm not saying that's me, obviously. It's just something I've heard about, obviously, not me, la. But anyway, yeah. I think that's probably just about enough random ass Babylon for tonight. Um, it's interesting. But like, I don't know, it's kind of like on the theory of spirituality and psychic, like maybe certain medications can block out gifts or blessings. Like they think all these medications are good, but only certain gifts for like people who are using them as a crutch to cope with trauma or people that have been affected by these negative forces or energies or entities or spirits. It's a good idea because, like, I don't know, even when I was a child, I was a lot stronger than I am now, especially since the medication. And like after this, for a little bit, like my legs were starting to hurt a shitload from like I don't know if it was from the medication or something. Like they didn't care about the side effects. They're like, oh, we think you're psychotic. Do you think I'm a danger? No. Well, you still got to be on them. Um, or you'll send it back for 6 months again. And so like my legs were hurting, so I went on steroids, which I only ended up taking for like 3 days, but I just kept them in my bag in case anyway. And that somehow did the opposite of what steroids are supposed to do, and it made me weaker. I was like, well, that's fucking interesting. Um, but yeah, like even the strength I had as a child, I do not have anywhere near that now. Um, like it was like a natural God given thing, and I also decided to tell a little bit of a fib, which is a bad thing, and be like, yeah, I just had all this strength naturally, but actually I did practice as a child to defend myself because of the horrible situations like I got put in from family and stepfathers and all this or that bullshit, and like my father, and yeah, was interesting. Like I used to practice wall running and all this weird shit too, which I don't think I can do anymore anyway. I can barely jump over a fucking stick. I was gonna say jump over a hippie, but jump over a stick. I was gonna end this rando pointless talk because I didn't really even cover the topic um that I was going to or wanted to enough when I should have because I couldn't think about enough stuff about it. But like, I don't know, like believe in yourself, find where you come from, put your feet flat on the ground, put your hands inwards or to the sides. Where are you? Where do you come from? Who are you? What do you stand for? What do you represent? Um, what is it? What are you seeing? Why are you seeing it? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? If you're actually seeing something psychic or before it happens, then you need to tell someone because maybe they can help stop or fix this situation. If you're not psychic and you're having trauma, then you still need help anyway. If even if you've taken a little bit too many drugs and your brain is fried, you might still need help because it might not be too late to stop those things from happening permanently in the future as well. But I do think it all goes hand in hand, and a lot of people can get misdiagnosed for certain things and certain disorders. And I also think certain disorders have go toe in toe with certain abilities and conditions or things like this as well in my beliefs. Like the two go toe in toe. I don't exactly how to relate them all. Like I don't think I'm going into psychology if I pass, which I hope I do because I am failing fucking miserably at some of it. But you got to try and do your best, and that's all you can do. Worst I can do is rack up $4,000 worth of student debt and pay to spend 10 years paying it off. Yeah, I'm gonna do a reading from one of the cards and then a page on my basically pointless readings, and then yeah. I mean, Like, I don't know. You do get certain people when you do readings and stuff that are like, oh, are you FBI? Are you this or you that? Like, I saw someone saying on their readings, oh, on their YouTube, oh, people thought I was FBI, and my ex thought that about them, and then my ex thought that about me, and some people have thought that I have some secret thing going on like that, and that's why I'm getting all these card readings right now. It's like, no, I come from, like, family of people who have done things like this before. This card sticks out right now to me. I didn't get it in the reading though. Desires. Something to do with being of desires. Being at play here. Okay, so for the past, dreams. So the opposite of dreams would be like thoughts, I guess. Like the opposite of dreams would be not dreaming, or it could be a lack of dream. But I'm getting this something that was awake and not sleeping, or like asleep, or anything to do with sleep. They were the opposite of something that has sleep in the word. They were like completely active, awake, and aware of what they were doing in the past, especially in the present. Oh, we got two here. We've got the mind and seeing. So someone is not seeing something right now, and someone maybe I thought I said the muse for a second. Someone is definitely not minding their own business, and someone upside down mind. Let's see. Um, body. So the opposite of the mind could be a body, or it could be that someone is not thinking with insight, or not just using their emotions too much. When like it's healthy, okay, to use your instincts or your emotions, so you got, but you got to have a healthy balance with the mind as well. But someone is not seeing something, and something that is a body. I don't know, maybe there's a decomposing body and someone doesn't realize it, and God, I hope someone's not walking past the body and being like, why does it look like that? Why does that person keep lying in the streets? Because that shit happens sometimes. It's horror, man. Like, why are there so many flowers around that person? It can be someone that's just gross looking, but it can also be that someone is dead and no one realizes it. Um, Third eye chakra. So the third eye chakra is interesting. Um, I don't know what it fucking represents because I remember this. I barely remember anything sometimes. Um, it was a lot of it came from certain abusive situations. And they would blame it on drugs because like I didn't want to be on drugs at certain times. And I was forced and I got off, and I was forced and I got off. And then there was a situation with my abusive ex roommate, and I was off of it for like I was off of drugs and stuff for like months before that, and then I ended up getting back on it after because I was like, well, this just made me so sad and stressed out. It was just a coping thing. I also used to do marijuana because, like, apparently my grandfather said it's been done back on his side of the family, not the fortune tellers, for like generations and generations. It's like a spiritual thing. So I thought it was like a spiritual thing, and it's like a spiritualist thing, and it's like a religious spiritualist thing to me, which I thought was cool but interesting. In the future, spiritual awareness, seeing, insight, visualization, psychic powers, intuition, and the clairs. Um, I myself think clairs are interesting. When I was a young child, I was like, I had this theory. I was like, what if I have super smells and I can smell things from far away for some supernatural reason of this or that? Or like, I even had all these theories based on movies about bitten in this or that, but it was not the same thing, or it was not relevant because that turned out to not happen. I was kind of disappointed. I was like, eh. But like I think it's what is it called, clairgustance or something like that. Maybe clairalience. I think it's called clairalience, which is the ability to smell things before it happened. And then I was standing next to a tree, and I kind of started feeling things before it happened. And then one day, I haven't really ever heard anything before it would happen, or but like I felt things and I smelled things and felt things before they happen, which is kind of like it's like a funny superpower. Like there's superheroes movie. Like I can imagine someone putting something like that in a movie like that, which is kind of interesting. Um, and Um, what the fuck is the other one? I'm not hearing. Forgot what the other sense is. So seeing, tasting. I'm not sure if I've tasted things before they happen, but it wouldn't fucking surprise me sometimes. Um, yeah. Let's see. I open myself to issue. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that because I'm saying it so wrong. But yeah, like trust yourself in your guidance. Like I don't know, you could help or you could not help. Like when I was with my other ex who I broke up with, like I told them, I'm probably gonna end up breaking up with you, and I'm gonna be really mean and rude about it. Like I'm in mourning right now, and blah blah blah, and I'm not sure about this. I'm probably gonna be really, really mean and rude about waking up, and I can see it happening. And just stay the same, and remember, like you are the best you can. As long as you're the best you can be, that's all you need, and that's all you can be. Be happy with yourself and your life and what you have, and blah blah blah. And like if you're the best you are, then you get to live, be born, and die with the best person you know, and dying with someone you care about is just a bonus. And then it is a privilege to know you, so who gives a shit? But to do with this particular ex, they had a drinking problem as well. Was not very good for me. I spent more money than I should have with them because I just wanted to spend time and be with them because I was so like, love. But I don't know. I don't think it was love. I don't think they cared about me that much. I just think thought they cared about me. Um, but this particular ex, like, I saw them. I saw them like a vision of them. I thought it was just psychosis from finding my old friend dead, but I saw a vision of them dying, bleeding out of the nose with a white cap on. And I was like, oh, this is just psychotic. I'm just traumatized. But then, like, the next day, they got a hat, and it was the same fucking hat. I was like, well, what can the cause of that be? It can be liver issues, this or that, coughing up and bleeding up blood can come from this or that. So, like, I was talking to them about quitting, and I was trying to nudge them into quitting, and blah, blah, blah. And because of this, instead of being at the house where they were, they ended up being in a hospital when this happened instead. So being in hospital meant that when they started coughing up and bleeding blood, it did not lead to them dying like I saw happening. It led to them being in hospital when it happened, which meant that they were fixing, they were cured. There was no bad signs or no omens or nothing saying it was wrong or supposed to happen, or else I probably wouldn't have fixed it. If it was supposed to happen, it would be inevitable anyway. Um, but yeah, it's kind of interesting, and they ended up living instead. Maybe it was further down the line. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I do believe they might. I don't know because yeah, but that was kind of scary. And when they went through that, I was like, damn. But um, I talked to them actually about psychology and spirituality, and they like think that I did have spiritual things as well, but then they didn't, and then they did, and then they didn't, and then like you're actually an empath, and they're like you're not. Um, and then they help me also a little bit with the psychological part of it because of the fact that some psychologists, without information, training, or life skills, or having gone through anything themselves, can be like, no one gets threatened. Like, no one's ex can be an evil Satanist person. One of them even went as far as to say, people don't threaten people. That just happens on movies. No one ever threatens anyone in real life. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And like, they were talking about all these things about how I had this or that, and like the drugs were definitely very bad for me, and especially the fact they weren't changing it when it was literally causing me heart pain. Like it ended up causing me heart pain, and I was getting heart pain all the time from it, and it hurt. And their psychologist refused to change it, and they didn't even put any times I told them, except for like the last two times I asked to get changed. They only put that down there, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? Why? And like, you didn't report these symptoms until the end. I was like, I reported it like the whole fucking time as soon as it started happening because I was so worried because I was like, am I having a heart attack? This or that, blah blah blah. I was worried because I had high cholesterol, but when I stopped the medication, I was on the cholesterol went down to normal levels as well. So it was definitely caused by the medication, which was interesting. Like I was working at a burger shop, so I was like eating. Sometimes I was eating breakfast there, sometimes I wasn't, and I didn't have a kitchen to properly work with at that point in time. But I still could have made a sandwich or something if I had gotten off my ass. But like, I was just eating like because I'm a vegetarian, so I was getting like a burger with no meat in it, just like a bun and lettuce and tomato, and putting chips in it for lunch every day. So that's really unhealthy. So that probably didn't help. But yeah. And I was like most of the time, half the time, sometimes like in the middle of working, I was getting like a piece of banana bread for breakfast every day and like a chai. and then drinking a chai on my lunch break as well, so that's probably not good for me either. But yeah, interesting. Spirituality, psychic, what's that other word? Psychotic. Yeah, and sometimes you get people who will claim to be psychics or spiritualists, but they're actually psychotic. Like, when I moved into this house, there was someone lived here, Josh. The owner thought he was a nice, lovely person, but like from personal experience and empathy and also time sensitivity, like I didn't provoke him or do anything. I just waited for him to reveal himself as he truly was. And as soon as I fucking met the man, I knew this guy is a psychopath in disguise. He is a horrible person. He does this or that, and he turned out to be really psychotic and horrible, and he blamed it on this or that, and then he blamed it on drinking, he blamed it on drugs. And I was like, most of the people that are on that don't know it's a drugs, or only some of them realize it's a drugs. And I was like, um, yeah. And then like I woke up one day and he was trying to get at my fucking door in my room with his head through the door, trying to like get his way in. He was like running a knife along the door and all this psychotic shit. I was like, well, screw you. I've dealt with scary people in my life. Um, sure, there's a chance you'll stab me in my sleep, fucking tonight or a different night or blah blah blah. But he doesn't live here anymore. He ended up getting kicked out because he wasn't paying bills or so that. Like, I feel kind of bad for him, but I'm not gonna feel bad for him because he knew exactly what the fuck he was doing, and there was so many indications that he's just a really good manipulator. Like, it honestly doesn't surprise me if he's killed someone. Like in this room, the red marks on the walls, and I swear some of the red marks on the walls just kind of came up as I was looking at them and appeared, and it kind of gave me in my mind. I don't know if this was psychotic or not, but I was still on medication then. Um, like kind of like my this theory or seeing that like a woman used to live here, and he like was convinced they were stealing from them, and she wasn't doing it and this or that, and like he makes up lies about people owing money, which he does to me as well, and he uses that as an excuse to hurt people because he's a fucking psychopath and psychotic. And like in this delusion, he like walked in and he grabbed a knife and he like slit her wrist and like held it in her hand. Like he like grabbed it and put it in her hand and slit her wrist and like framed this woman as having commit suicide by like doing this weird ass devil voodoo shit and like not voodoo because voodoo involves taking the heart and weighing the heart to see how it balances on the scales, which is an interesting thing or interesting theory. But some people aren't actually voodoo; they like just think they're voodoo, and then some people are like hoodoo, which is terrifies you. I'm like fuck that shit. Um, and yeah, it's interesting. But like I was scared of him because of that, but I wasn't gonna let it get in the way of me because sometimes the drugs kind of made me see things that were not real or psychic or delusions. But like after I saw this, I swear the walls started cracking a little bit, and I was like, "Well, fuck, that's interesting, very interesting." Yeah. Um, if I told a psychologist about that, they'd be like, "You're psychotic." Like I went out of my way and told the psychologist when I was a child, I kind of saw something in my head and I thought I was watching a TV program, but I haven't found the TV program. And recently, in the last couple of years, I've started to find all different people from this, like, they were thinking I was watching a TV show, so unless their parents were all fucking famous somehow or something, involving it. But I think it's in a different country because they don't have any of the burger shop, the White Castle or like a Castle of White or White Castle, however you want to say it here. Um, and it's to do with like a tree. And I've started to meet all the people from this thing I saw when I was a child. And I started to meet all the people, and most of them are around the same age, or some of them seem to be exactly the same age as um when in this like thing I'm seeing, like one of these ladies was from a nightclub, one of them was a friend, another one was a friend, someone was this person, someone was that person, one was me. One of these people was like a tree person, not like an actual tree person. They could do tree things and all this interesting shit, which was actually quite a useful strategy because like they learned to like draft style uppercut people with trees and they could like knock people in the air with trees, which was pretty useful. And they like learned to do a special thing where they could make like an almost impenetrable tree shield by like shielding someone with trees, which was pretty cool too. Um, like it's all kind of interesting. Um, conjecture. Someone say it's psychotic, some might say it's not. Me as a child had delusions that I even talked to like fucking magical glowing sky god person. But that's just a child being a child, everyone thinks they do that as a child probably, which is pretty fucking interesting. But that was probably just me being psychotic and coping with coping with bullshit going on in my life in some weird ass way, who told me all the shit that would end up happening in my life that did, like regardless of whether or not it happened, whether or not it happened, whether or not you had been there, they would have forced someone and they would have done someone, and they're going to claim that someone told them to do it, but they would have done it just for like their own selfish reasons, and they weren't like working for or with the good side. They would have done it to someone regardless because they wanted to, or in that situation, they're horrible people, um, regardless if it was you there or not, and blah blah. And they told me all these things that would end up happening, and that it would do it, and then that was okay for like these certain reasons, and blah blah blah. And yeah, it was a fucking interesting ass thing because it all ended up happening. So whether or not I was psychotic, I don't know. Maybe I drank some special ass juice, and it was all part of my stepbrother's evil plan. I don't fucking know, but it's all interesting. I believe that it was some kind of cool force. Like, I've always had this kind of belief that I get lucky. Like, in certain situations, I've gone through a lot worse things than certain people, but in the end, I came out of it alive, which not everyone gets a fucking privilege of. So you should be blessed and lucky with what you are, and that you survive what you survive. And like, I kind of have this view that kind of like I kind of refer to as God. Like, I'm like, God's got me. It's kind of like this almighty cosmic force of the universe, which is interesting, which seems to always like have it out for me is the word I use to describe it. When I say that, I mean like they help me. Like, even if it's just like me going to the shops every so often, every time I go to the shop, like half the items I want to get specifically are on sale, or something, like something as small as that, like a special, is pretty cool or pretty interesting. Or even just like chances or coincidences or this or that, like, is all pretty cool. Like the universe working like dominoes. If you tell a psychologist, oh, I was looking out and I was sad, and the wind was there and it was so beautiful and the light shone perfectly and a bird flew past and it showed me like beauty and meaning in life. If you tell certain psychologists like that, they'll be like, grandiose delusions, thinks he's important, thinks he's someone, this or that, confine him, drug him, lock him up for months. But you tell some psychologists that, and they'll be like, "That's beautiful that you found the beauty in life." You tell some psychologists that, they'd be like, "Well, it's like I'm a spiritual person, so that's kind of like a spiritual cool thing. And the life is showing you beauty, this or that. The wind is coming to you, and it's like showing you that something is like, damn, you are this. Be proud of it." Um, which is kind of interesting. This video has gone on for way too motherfucking long, and I gotta stop wasting nobody's time. I myself am also nobody, but it's interesting. What this other one? Oh, I put it in my bag. Put it in my bag. Just gonna do a quick book card. These books again. Oh, I didn't tell you which ones these are. These are the Chakra Insight Oracle cards by Carrion Sangster. Oh shit, that was terrible. And I like these ones too. I got a bunch of different ones. I love my tarot cards. My mom's like, I think you got too many and you're just overcompensating for something. Yeah. But like, um, I think that you can use them all for specific insights and purposes, like about situations, like about different things, can give you different insights and purposes into different things and situations, which is pretty cool. You know, my mother always told me, don't use anyone's cards without permissions, or else the spirit of the line will curse you and do all these horrible things. And like, spirits of the line will curse you if you do, or you bully these people, you do anything like that or horrible. So like, I just avoid conflict. That's why, like, if I ever find out anyone uses my cards without permission, I'm like, oh, I give you permission, just ask before you do it again, or blah blah, because I don't particularly like them using it, but I don't really mind if they use it as well. Like, it's not a fucking sex toy. Anyway, like, me, I'm like, if anyone has used my cards at this point, I give them permission, but no, before you do it again, to be cautious of these things. Um, this one's interesting. It's got a heart in it because I was just talking about the heart pain, and like, there's also the situation. You probably can't see it. It's terrible, but like, you might not be able to see it on camera. I can find it sometimes and I can't. But there's like a scar there somewhere that can't show in this light from my ex. Literally, yeah. You see the hospital drugs, fat belly, embrace it. um, yeah, about my ex literally trying to cut my heart out, and there's a scar there. I can sometimes find it, and I sometimes can't, but it's there and it's mine. I know it. Always make time to celebrate your achievements, your friends, your life. Life as a god. I mean, life is as good as you choose to make it. It's interesting. I gotta get my glasses from the store so I'm not so dyslexic, motherfucker. Um, on that specific page, grr, why are you not letting me go there? Okay. Ooh, a bow and arrow is present in this one. It's a cool little picture. This is something about love or the heart. A being of something to do with a loved person. Um, what can you do right now to get a little? I'm terrible at reading. What can you do right now? No, no, there's a comma. See, my English teachers are like, you need help with this, and they're being all nice about it. I'm like, I do. What can you do right now to get a little more conscious of love? So what can you do to get a little bit more conscious of love, to like be a little bit more knowledgeable or accepting of love and the love around you? And like, seeing love as it is, not what you think it should be or what you want it to be. Like seeing the love around you for what it is and the love that was given to you, not the love you didn't get, or not the love you wanted or expecting, the love that you got or the love you deserved, not the love you thought you deserved. But that's not always relevant because some people do deserve love time sometimes and they might not get it until like later. Or like I hear situations of some people not getting the love they deserve. I'm like, that sucks. Why would that happen to you? People should get what they deserve in life, which is kind of cool and interesting. Ooh, I also want to show you or the none of you. This is a cool triangle pyramid thing. The first time I got it, the edges kind of dulled down, but they were so sharp they were like owie. And this is a dog tooth amethyst. I thought it was pretty cool. Well, I don't think it's a dog tooth. It's like a natural one. Imagine that as a tooth, like, arr. That'd be pretty cool. It'd break my fucking tooth. Okay, peace out. Peace out. Love and love and cheese and clouds and water. Bye.